Hello, I'm Cameron Walker and this is GBN Royal. Welcome to Inside the Palace, an exclusive look that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Let's go. On Monday, President Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. The relationship between Sir Keir Starmer's Labour government and the new Republican president, however, is at best rocky. But Britain has a trump card, pardon the pun, the royal family, and the president is known for his pro-monarchist tendencies. Good trade without eye-watering tariffs and diplomatic relations between the United Kingdom and the United States could prove essential in an increasingly volatile world. Is it any wonder, therefore, that a Downing Street source told The Times this week that the government is planning for a senior royal to visit the United States to renew this special relationship? Buckingham Palace confirmed on Monday that the King has sent a personal message to the President on his inauguration, reflecting on the enduring special relationship between the UK and USA. Members of the royal family have soft power to strengthen relations between two countries in a way that politicians just cannot do. Royals have to remain politically neutral. I understand the option of a state visit to the US remains firmly on the table, as does the possibility of the King inviting President Trump to London. A source insists that there are no dates in the diary yet, and any visit would, of course, be subject to the advice of the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office in London. The Times reports that 2026 is the most likely year being talked about for an outward state visit to Washington, D.C. If I was a betting man, I would perhaps place a bet on the Prince and Princess of Wales maybe going, if Catherine, of course, is well enough. And this is because Prince William met President Trump in Paris last year, and Trump remarks that he looks better in person. He absolutely beams with delight. He really enjoyed that meeting with Prince William. And a royal source has previously branded William as a global statesman a number of times. His popularity in the United States, despite his brother's personal attacks on him, could be something that the UK government could capitalise on. And I was with him in Boston a couple of years ago. There were girls screaming. The crowds were humongous. Just saying, this could be it for Prince William and President Trump. On Tuesday, the Prince of Wales visited Centrepoint's Ealing service to meet young people being supported by the homeless charity. 2025 will mark 20 years of Prince William being the charity's patron, having made secret visits as a boy with his mother Diana, Princess of Wales. Now, during the engagement, he played table football and boxed with young people experiencing homelessness. There's some great footage and photos of Prince William boxing in the garden, and he appeared to thrive during the boxing drills, saying that it might get me back into boxing. You never know. And I hear that the Prince of Wales has actually in the past taken to the boxing ring, albeit briefly and not properly, I understand. At Centrepoint, each young person aged 16 to 25 is provided with a home, employment and education opportunities, as well as counselling. And I understand the Prince really enjoyed his meeting with the young people this week, especially hearing their personal stories of why they needed support. For example, he met 24-year-old Bethany, who was in care as a child. She fell pregnant aged 17, but she pushed through with the help of Centrepoint and earned a degree from the London School of Economics, which is a really prestigious university here in the UK, and now works in local government. In 2023, the Prince of Wales launched Homewards, which is a 5-year plan to demonstrate homelessness can be ended in the UK, making it rare, brief and unrepeated. And a Kensington Palace spokesperson tells me, Homewards is now in its 2nd year and the Prince of Wales is focused on the action that can take place across the 6 locations. They stretch right across the United Kingdom. He will no doubt take inspiration from the innovative approach he saw at Centrepoint today. Meanwhile, the Duke of Sussex has settled out of court with News Group newspapers over alleged unlawful information gathering at both The Sun and the now defunct News of the World. Now, NGN has offered Harry an unequivocal apology for the intrusion into his private life of himself and his late mother, Diana, Princess of Wales. It is the first time the Sun newspaper has ever admitted in its history liability for their use of private investigators to carry out unlawful information gathering, but the title has always and continues to deny phone hacking ever took place there. Prince William and Harry's uncle, Earl Spencer, has now made a rare public statement. He said, "It takes an enormous amount of guts to take on opponents like News Group newspapers and a great tenacity to win. And it's just wonderful that Harry fought for and gained an apology to his mother. She would have been incredibly touched at that, and rightly proud. It is incredibly telling that Diana's brother has gone on the record to defend and praise his nephew's tenacity. Following the late princess's tragic death in a car crash in Paris during a paparazzi chase, Earl Spencer accused British newspaper editors of having blood on their hands. They were really, really strong words. He was visibly angry. And it appears Prince Harry and his uncle could share the same resentment actually towards British tabloids, and shows their bond is still strong, despite Harry's fallout with the royal family over Megxit. Now, I understand Prince Harry is still not on speaking terms with his brother Prince William and has limited contact with the King. Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace declined to comment on Prince Harry's legal settlement. Now, here's a nice story to end with. Yesterday, I attended the Grenadier Guards inspection at their barracks near Aldershot, because on Monday, they take up ceremonial public duties for the King at Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, the Tower of London, and St James's Palace for the first time in 5 years. So the first time since King Charles has been king. And for the last 5 years, these battle-hardened soldiers have been deployed on operational combat duties, Iraq, they've been to the Falkland Islands and the wider Middle East as well. And with a few minor tweaks which were ordered by the Brigade Major of the Household Division, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Foynet, they will achieve ceremonial perfection by Monday's ceremonies. And he told me that the things we tend to be commenting on are things like the fit of the uniforms, but we will have more on that later. The Grenadier Guards have a particularly close bond with King Charles, who I understand often has private dinners with them. His Majesty is the company commander of the King's Company Grenadier Guards, bit of a mouthful, but it is one of the oldest regiments in the British Army. They have been on duty inside Westminster Abbey, for example, at every coronation since King Charles II was crowned following the restoration of the monarchy in 1660. They were originally formed from loyal bodies of men who remained close to and trusted, crucially, by the King throughout his exile in Bruges. His father, Charles I, was executed in 1649. So here is the highlights of my visit to Lille Barracks in Aldershot.
March!
The last time the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards were protecting royal palaces, Queen Elizabeth II was still on the throne. Since 2020, they've been deployed to Iraq, the wider Middle East, and the Falkland Islands. After 5 years in operational combat roles, these battle-hardened soldiers must now turn their skills to ceremonial perfection on behalf of the nation and the King, promoting Britain at its best. And it's nothing short of perfection that's expected from the King and his Brigade Major of the Household Division. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Foynet is scrutinising every aspect of the Guardsmen's performance at their fit-for-role inspection at Lille Barracks in Aldershot. So what's his verdict?
Everything that is within the power of the soldiers has been done to an extremely high standard. The things we tend to be commenting on are things like fit of uniforms, where perhaps some tailoring adjustment is required, or in one or two cases where bearskins are perhaps a little bit beyond their design life and are going a funny colour or could fit better. So it's really about providing the appropriate support to make sure that the soldiers and indeed the battalion get the support they require to perform to the highest standard.
Assuming the Brigade Major thinks they're fit for duty, the Grenadier Guards will take up positions at Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, the Tower of London, and St James's Palace on Monday. As well as ceremonial guard changes, they'll help the King welcome visiting world leaders during high-profile state visits. In private, it's understood His Majesty often dines with his guardsmen, a particularly close bond he's developed as company commander of the King's Company. Captain Robin Mackworth-Young of the Grenadier Guards explains the relationship.
It's a huge privilege to have His Majesty as our Commander-in-Chief, and I know that he takes his responsibilities to not only us, but all of his regiments in the British Army very seriously. We feel a particular connection to the royal family, having been personally formed by King Charles II in exile in 1656, and that close relationship between the Grenadier Guards and the wider Household Division has remained extant for those 400 and something years.
This summer, the Grenadier Guards are expected to take part in the 80th anniversary commemorations for the end of the Second World War, supporting their Colonel, the Queen, and their Commander-in-Chief, the King. Cameron Walker, GB News, Aldershot. This is Cameron Walker for GB News Royal. Don't forget to subscribe for more royal content.